Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where...
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like...
Fucker! You fucker! Fucker!
Oh!
Huh? What the f...
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I'm your online voice for reviews of your choice. Back again with another installment of BS Reviews. And this time, our movie comes from the mind of former Ghostbuster Egon himself, Harold Ramis. I'm, of course, talking about the caveman comedy Year One. Now, I want to make something very clear. Before I actually saw this movie, I had no idea this movie was directed, written, and even starred Harold Ramis. Most of the advertisements, and I think I'm not the only one who saw this, most of the advertisements depicted this movie as being connected in one way or another with Judd Apatow. I assumed that he either directed, produced, or had some sort of creative capacity in this film, so that kind of made me more inclined to see it because, as I said, even though it's a PG-13 comedy movie, I figured, hey, Judd Apatow does great stuff. But when I found out it was Harold Ramis, I was a little shocked, and the film at first didn't seem like it would be that funny from what I saw from the promos. But like I said, because of Apatow, I gave it a little more incentive to go see it because I know he does good work, but I was a little surprised because he mostly does rated R films. Anyway, getting back on track, I decided to give this movie an honest, sincere shot, and here's the results. Year One, as I said, is directed by Harold Ramis. It was written by him and Gene Stupinitsky. I didn't make that up, I just read it. It was released by Columbia Pictures, and it stars Jack Black as Zed, Michael Cera as O, Oliver Platt as the High Priest, David Cross as Cain, Vinnie Jones as Sargon, Hank Azaria as Abraham, and Olivia Wilde as Princess Inanna. The plot of Year One. Year One takes us thousands of years back into the past into the lives of cavemen, more specifically two stupid and completely inept and practically retarded cavemen in the form of Zed and O. One's a hunter, Zed, and one's a gatherer, O. Both, unfortunately, suck terribly at their job and are viewed as total social and literal outcasts from most of their clansmen. Unfortunately, this bothers them most when the fact that the women that they both venture for, Maya, played by June Diane Raphael, and Ima, played by Juno Temple, have no interest in either Zed or O. So, to improve his worth and his love for his women, Zed takes a bite of some fruit from the forbidden tree of knowledge. And unfortunately, it's forbidden for a reason. Both of him and O are kicked out of the tribe. However, Zed maintains that this is part of his new godlike destiny because he claims that eating the forbidden fruit has given him new knowledge. So they venture out into the world to start their own tribe, meeting a lot of crazy-ass people and even crazier-ass situations until they find out that their old clan has been kidnapped and forced into slavery. And now Zed and O must find a way to sneak in to the empire that has invaded and taken their clan in Sodomy and Gomorrah and try and bring them back. Review of the plot. As I said before, I was a little hesitant when I first saw this movie because it didn't seem like it'd be that funny. The plot actually doesn't really come into effect until a little bit towards the middle of the movie, at least 20 or 30 minutes past it. And that, unfortunately, is a little problem with me because I don't like the fact that a movie has a plot and then starts to tell you only halfway while you're in the movie you're getting into it. I like something that gives you at least a good idea of what you're getting into from the very start, or at least gives you an inclination of where this movie's going to be going. Perhaps there's some sort of in-joke to have Zed and O not know where they're going, since that's where most of the questions lie in the film, is that where they're going. They say they're going to start a tribe, but it's very cryptic. So in that sense, maybe it was trying to say, oh, they're as lost as we are, but I don't know. So I was a little worried about that. Review of the characters. Most people who view Jack Black view him much like Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn and many other comedic actors. You either like him or you hate him. Jack Black I actually enjoy. I don't think he's as funny as Will Ferrell and some of the other actors like Vince Vaughn and that. Actually, I think Jack Black is funnier than Vince Vaughn, but anyway. I was a little worried about him because the whole thing about this movie is that if you don't like Jack Black, then don't watch the movie because the whole movie is carried by him. And oddly enough, he does a pretty damn good job of it. You think he might run out of steam or might not be funny or as energetic throughout the film as he is, but he maintains a constant, composed, and continuous line of humor that's constant throughout the film. But what really works with him, and this is where the movie truly shines, is his relationship with Michael Cera. Michael Cera is one of those people where he plays himself in every single film. Now, if you're looking for acting awards, that's going to be a problem. However, if you're looking to laugh, he's just your guy, because the secret to Michael Cera's magic is that he has to be with someone else on screen. When you have someone beside him, he can make everything seem funnier and be even funnier than that person that he's being paired with, such as in Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Superbad, and even Arrested Development. He works with someone, and they work beautifully together. But probably one of the stealing moments, or the true scene-stealing characters from the film comes from Oliver Platt's High Priest, who plays this really bizarre, overly sexual, fat, hairy man who constantly has rubbed vast amounts of oil on him in probably the most disturbing yet funny-ass scenes I've ever seen. It's so bizarre and weird, but you're laughing your balls off. You get a lot of other great performances from good actors. Hank Azaria, freaking hysterical as Abraham. You get Mr. McLovin himself, Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Isaac. You also get Vinnie Jones, who's very good. I don't think he was in it enough, but I liked him. One that was most disappointing was David Cross, who played Kane. And he's in there quite a lot. I mean, he's in there a lot. But he didn't seem to really get any funnier. I mean, I like David Cross, but I think he felt restricted with this movie because he couldn't be as dirty as he usually is. And unfortunately, that made his work kind of suffer in this film. Which is a shame because, like I said, I enjoy him, but I didn't feel this was his best work. He seemed to be just a constant annoying running gag that he just couldn't get out from, or he had no other material to go to. So in that sense, I was a little upset. But otherwise, he was good. Olivia Wilde as Princess Inanna, also good. The girls who played the main brides or wannabes for Jack Black and Michael Cera's characters were all right. Nothing special, but nothing bad either. Review of the scenery and cinematography and music. Scenery is really good here, actually, because they filmed everything's pretty much filmed in desert area locales, and they're shot very well because you really get the sense that you're back in these times. While the film's characters definitely talk like they're straight out of the modern era, they basically fit right into the whole image. I mean, Jack Black looks just like a freaking caveman. Hell, he looked like a caveman before he even got in this movie. And they just fit so well, thanks to the awesome design of the sets, the scenery, and the costumes. And you really do feel like you're back in this time. And it just makes the movie all the more funnier because you're applying such hilarious, clever humor into the film. As for music, there wasn't really anything noteworthy. This movie's mostly about the verbal humor, so there wasn't really a lot of music to go off of. So that seems to be a habit with me, and not note that music never really strikes my fancy, as you should say, as much as other films do. But in any case, this movie's more about humor, not about humming some good tunes. Negatives about the film. As I said before, this movie is actually really funny. I believe people are giving it an unfortunately an unnecessary negative point of view because it's just slapstick and pea humor. Well, it is, but this is not the kind of movie that you need to apply that thought to, and that's one thing I need to make very clear. The obvious criticism about this film that I have to note is, for one, if you don't like Jack Black, then you're going to hate this movie because he's in there so much. Probably the thing that pissed me off the most was the fact that, like I said, the first beginning portion of the film wasn't really that funny. It was just kind of a repetitive joke that was just kind of funny that just kept going on. It mostly involved Kane, played by David Cross. And they kept using it so much that it didn't seem that funny. And once they finally got into it, it was great, but like I said, when they were first leaving the tribe to go find their own, it felt like they had lost their place so early in the movie, and we felt lost for it too. And I felt like we didn't know where it was going to go, so I was a little worried where this movie was going to end up in. So that was my biggest complaint in the film. But the advantage to this is that we were led into something much greater, and I think that's the key secret to this film's unique success, or at least success at making you laugh. It starts off kind of slow and drudging and doesn't really grab your interest from the beginning. But once you stick with it and you see just how well these characters play off of each other, particularly Michael Cera and Jack Black, they turn out some amazingly hysterical performances. The humor in here may be immature, but let's just face it. You don't always have to see a movie that's filled with intelligence and bustling maturity. If you want to laugh, then try to make the person laugh. And that's what this movie does. It tries to make you laugh, and in my opinion, it does a very damn good job of it. There's not much of a point to this movie. There's not really much of a point to having back in Cavemen, other than to make you laugh. So for that sense, if you want to see this movie for any reason, see it because you want a good chuckle. And that's what it does. Final wrap-up, Year One is an unusual animal to come out of Harold Ramis's ghost-busting imagination. While it does seem a little weird and pointless to have them back in the old caveman times, it doesn't really serve too much to the humor. And the first part does kind of drag along, and David Cross does get kind of annoying. Overall, this movie is actually very funny. You just need to wait to get right into the deep of it. You get some really good chemistry between Michael Cera and Jack Black. Oliver Platt is freaking hysterical. You get good performances from everyone all around, such as Vinnie Jones and Hank Azaria, as I said before. It's a good movie, and I think people need to stop giving it flack and start giving it some nods, because it is something that'll definitely make you smile. Bottom line, I give Year One a quite enthusiastically in charge 3 stars out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for listening. This has been Bionic Slime, and bye for now.